Why does your gut feel worse right before your period, even when you haven't changed anything you eat, even when you're trying to do everything right, even when you swear you were fine just a few days ago? One week you feel relatively normal, and then suddenly your stomach feels swollen, heavy, unpredictable, sensitive to foods that never used to bother you, and emotionally it all feels louder too. The bloating feels tighter, the constipation or diarrhea feels more extreme. The cramps seem to wrap around your entire abdomen, and your patience with your own body disappears. If this feels familiar, you're not broken, and you're definitely not imagining it. There is a very real conversation happening between your gut, your hormones, your nervous system, and your sense of safety in your body right before your period, and most of us were never taught how to listen to it. What makes this especially frustrating is that the discomfort often feels personal, like a failure of discipline or self-control. You might catch yourself thinking that you ate something wrong, that you weren't careful enough, that you're paying for a choice you made. But the truth is that the premenstrual phase changes the internal environment of your body in ways that directly affect digestion, sensitivity, inflammation, and even how intensely you perceive physical sensations. Your gut doesn't suddenly become bad. It becomes more reactive, more honest, and more exposed. In the days before your period, estrogen and progesterone begin to drop. This hormonal shift doesn't just affect your uterus, it affects your brain chemistry, your gut motility, your immune response, and the permeability of your intestinal lining. Progesterone, which tends to slow things down, has been high during the luteal phase. As it falls, the rhythm of your digestion can feel erratic. For some women, this shows up as constipation that suddenly flips into urgency. For others, it's bloating that feels unrelenting no matter what they eat. The gut is not malfunctioning, it's responding to a changing internal signal. At the same time, estrogen influences how your gut handles inflammation and how sensitive your nervous system is to discomfort. When estrogen drops, pain thresholds can drop with it. This means sensations you could tolerate a week ago now feel amplified. A normal amount of gas feels painful. Mild fullness feels like extreme bloating. A little digestive noise feels alarming. The body isn't creating new problems, it's turning up the volume on signals that were already there. This is also the phase where the gut-brain connection becomes impossible to ignore. Your gut contains a massive portion of your serotonin receptors, and fluctuations in hormones affect how serotonin is produced, used, and recycled. That's why digestive discomfort right before your period is so often paired with irritability, sadness, anxiety, or a sense of being emotionally raw. Your gut and your mood are moving together not because you're weak, but because they're wired to respond to the same chemical messengers. Another layer that rarely gets talked about is fluid balance. Before your period, the body tends to retain more water. This doesn't just show up as puffiness in the face or tenderness in the breasts. It also affects the intestines. When tissues hold more fluid, the gut can feel heavier, tighter, and less comfortable. Digestion can feel sluggish not because food isn't moving, but because the environment around the intestines feels crowded. That pressure can trigger bloating sensations even without excess gas. Then there's the immune system. Right before menstruation, the body shifts into a more inflammatory state. This is not a mistake. It's part of preparing the uterine lining to shed. But inflammation doesn't stay neatly contained in one area. If your gut already has areas of sensitivity, irritation, or imbalance, this inflammatory shift can make them more noticeable. Foods that normally feel neutral suddenly feel irritating. Old digestive symptoms resurface. The gut feels like it's protesting when really it's responding to a temporary internal climate change. This is where food guilt often sneaks in. When symptoms flare, it's easy to look backward and blame what you ate. Sugar, carbs, dairy, gluten, processed foods, something bad. But this mindset misses something important. The same food can feel completely different in different hormonal contexts. Your body's response is not just about the food itself, it's about timing, sensitivity, stress levels, and hormonal state. The premenstrual phase lowers your tolerance threshold. That doesn't mean the food is inherently harmful, and it doesn't mean you failed. Stress plays a huge role here too, and not just emotional stress. The luteal phase naturally comes with lower stress resilience. Your nervous system is more reactive. Small stressors feel bigger. Your gut, which is deeply connected to your stress response, mirrors this. When your nervous system feels unsafe or overwhelmed, digestion is one of the first systems to feel it. Blood flow shifts away from the gut, motility changes, sensations intensify. This is why even thinking about your symptoms can make them feel worse. Awareness plus anxiety creates a feedback loop. Right before your period, your body is also more honest. That sounds strange, but it matters. During other phases of the cycle, hormones can buffer discomfort. They can smooth things over, keep symptoms quieter. When that buffer drops, underlying imbalances or sensitivities have less protection. This is why so many women feel like their gut is exposing them, betraying them, or revealing something they don't want to see. In reality, it's showing you information about how your body copes when support hormones are lower. There's also a cultural layer that adds emotional weight to all of this. Many women have been taught, directly or indirectly, that feeling bloated, uncomfortable, or digestive distress before their period is just something to push through quietly. Or worse, that it's something to fix, control, or eliminate. This creates a sense of pressure to manage your body perfectly during a time when your body is physiologically more sensitive. That pressure alone can worsen gut symptoms by increasing tension and self-criticism. If you've ever noticed that your gut symptoms feel tied to how you feel about yourself during this phase, that's not a coincidence. Right before your period, identity can feel more fragile, confidence can dip, old insecurities can surface. The gut, often called the second brain, reflects this vulnerability. Physical discomfort becomes entangled with emotional discomfort. You're not just bloated, you feel off in your body, less at home in yourself. What's important to understand is that this phase doesn't need to be fixed to be meaningful. The goal isn't to eliminate every symptom or force your gut into behaving normally when your internal environment is anything but normal. The real shift happens when you stop interpreting these sensations as proof that something is wrong with you. When you see them as communication instead of failure, the entire experience changes. That doesn't mean ignoring symptoms or romanticizing discomfort. It means recognizing that your gut is responding to a predictable hormonal and nervous system shift. It means understanding that sensitivity does not equal damage, reactivity does not equal weakness, and fluctuation does not equal loss of control. Your body is moving through a phase that asks for a different kind of relationship, one based on listening instead of policing. Many women notice that when they stop fighting their gut during this time, the symptoms actually feel less intense, not because the biology changes overnight, but because the stress response softens. When you're not bracing against your body, your nervous system can settle. When your nervous system settles, digestion often follows. This is not a trick or a mindset hack. It's physiology. It's also worth mentioning that comparison can make this phase harder. Seeing other women online who seem unaffected by their cycle can create a sense of isolation. But cycles vary wildly. Some bodies feel more in the gut. Some feel more in the head. Some feel more in the skin or joints. There is no correct way to experience your premenstrual phase. There is only your way. If you're listening to this and thinking, but my gut symptoms feel extreme, that doesn't invalidate what we're talking about. It simply means your body is more sensitive to these shifts, possibly due to past stress, chronic tension, or long-standing digestive vulnerability. Sensitivity is not a character flaw, it's a nervous system trait. And traits can be worked with, not erased. This is where compassion becomes practical, not just emotional. Compassion changes how you breathe, how you sit, how you interpret sensations. It changes whether your gut feels like an enemy or a partner having a hard moment. And that shift matters more than most people realize. As your period approaches, your body is preparing to let go. That process involves contraction, inflammation, and change. The gut sits right next to this process, physically and neurologically. It makes sense that it feels involved. It makes sense that it reacts. It makes sense that it asks for more space, more gentleness, more patience. If this resonates with you, I'd love to know. You can leave a comment sharing what your gut feels like right before your period, or whether this explanation helped you feel less alone in it. And if this kind of understanding brings you relief, even a small amount, liking this video and subscribing helps this conversation reach more women who think they're the only ones dealing with this. You don't need to control your body to be okay in it. Sometimes understanding is enough to loosen the grip of fear and guilt. And sometimes that's the most powerful shift of all.